Hi, Chef Joe with Healthy Kids Inc. and today we're going to be making baked flounder with green beans, cashews, and shallots. So we've got our pot of boiling salted water ready to blanch our beans. I've got a bowl full of ice ready to shock my beans so that the cooking process stops immediately after pulling them out of the water. I've got a little bit of butter here melting, and we're going to saute our shallots and our cashews in that in just a minute. But the first thing we're going to do is work on our flounder. So we have our flounder fillets here. We have some thyme and some parsley we've just roughly chopped here. And this is going into our panko breadcrumbs, which have been seasoned with salt and pepper, a little bit of garlic seasoning. Kind of mixing that up a little bit. Got a baking dish here that I've seasoned with salt and pepper, drizzled with oil. To that, we have some halved cherry tomatoes. I'm going to rub these around so they get coated in that seasoning and the oil. Perfect. Make a space because this is where our flounder is going to go. Okay, we've got that ready. Have our flounder fillets here. These are going to go into the breadcrumbs. And I'm just rolling these fillets up, and what this does, we have a thinner fillet here. I'm making it a little bit thicker, so it's going to take a little bit longer to cook. We're just going to repeat this process until we've used all of our flounder. Really make sure you get those breadcrumbs pressed in there really nicely. You could do this step that I'm doing now ahead of time if you want, and if you do so, wrap these tightly in plastic wrap and let them set in the fridge, and they'll hold this shape a little bit better. But it's fine to just go ahead and do it just like this. And these are going to go into a 425-degree oven for probably no longer than 6 minutes because these are thin fillets. If you have thicker fillets, you'll adjust the time accordingly, but you just want to watch it nice and close. Okay, just like that. Got a little bit more of our fresh herbs. I'm just going to sprinkle around the top of the tomatoes. Again, everything's nice and seasoned. I'm going to drizzle the tops of these with oil. Let them get nice and brown in the oven. We're going to pop these in. Come back and check those out in just a minute. Our butter's nice and melted. Begin sauteing our shallot. Okay, while the shallots are going, we're going to go ahead and put our beans in to blanch. These are only going to be in here for about 3 to 4 minutes or so. They're going to turn nice and bright green, and we're going to keep that crunch on them by shocking them in an ice bath. So we'll let that go for a second. Okay, by letting our butter start to take on this golden brown color here, what we've done is really bring out the nutty flavor into the butter. And that's going to go well because we are actually adding some cashews to this as well. So you'll get the nutty flavor of the butter and then the flavor of the cashews, the sweetness from the shallots. Once they start to soften up, you can go ahead and add in those cashews. You could use almonds, chestnuts, hazelnuts, anything would really work just fine here. Pinch of salt. Fresh cracked black pepper. I'm going to stir this around to make sure everything gets coated in the butter. beans a stir. Turning that nice bright green color, which is exactly what we're looking for. All right, we're ready to move over to the sink now. Okay, draining our beans. We have our ice bath ready here. I'm gonna go right in. Stir this up. Drain those again when we're ready to use them. Okay, we can kill the heat on our cashews and shallots. I'm gonna let these cool on some paper towel. All right, okay, we're gonna drain our green beans. Just let those set for a minute. Okay, come over to the oven and we'll pull our fish. That's what we're looking for. You want the tops of the tomatoes to be kind of blistered a little bit. Fish is firm to the touch. So we're gonna let this rest now. I'm just gonna kind of dry these beans off a little bit. Still nice and crunchy. This is what we want. All that's left to do with these now is to plate these up, and we'll plate them and top them with our cashews and shallots, which we sauteed in a little bit of butter. All right, so at this point, all that's left to do is to plate this up, and we'll show you the finished product in just a couple of minutes.